Thank you all for coming out for Parents' Night. Hopefully we're able to spend our time here. We can answer any questions. But first, my name is Joseph Wegan, and I will be going over the classroom management plan that we have for your children. One of the important things to mention is that our rules that we created, and we only have a couple, were created not just by myself, but also with your children. Instead of me imposing the rules on them, we had a good discussion in class to find out what they thought was important. This helps give them ownership and autonomy over their decisions as opposed to me, again, imposing rules on them. So we decided on just a couple things. Number one, we want to make sure that our students come prepared to class. This means that they need to make sure that they have all of their books, their pencils, their book bag, and they come in ready to learn. Additionally, we want to make sure that we respect each other, the equipment, and the teacher. We want to make sure that when one of our classmates is talking, that we're all quiet. When the teacher is talking, that we're quiet and paying attention. And we want to make sure that we don't destroy school property or each other's property. It's not respectful for them to steal from each other, and that's what they thought would be bad. So to go on from there, we have different rules on how we would want to essentially discipline bad behavior and reward good behavior. We have a tiered system on how we want to move through our punishments for bad behavior, and they're not anything extraneous. So for the first thing, all we do, we give them a verbal warning. We want to make sure that they remember what rules it is that they'd forgotten. Make sure that they remember that they're not behaving correctly. Not that they're a bad student, but that the behavior is what is bad and we want to stay away from. From there, we move to possibly a counseling session where I just talk with the student, again, not just to remind them, but to make sure that they fully understand what it is that what they've done wrong. Beyond that, we may also have other more logical discipline. So they may need to specifically go and write a letter of apology. They may need to get one of their classmates a new pencil or something of the like, something that fits the crime. Beyond that, we'll have to make a call home and hopefully not have to go as far as to bring in the principal. So our goal with punishment isn't to do anything extraneous. Again, we don't want to punish. We also aren't punishing for grades. It's only breaking the rules if they didn't follow the rules behaviorally. But we don't want to punish with grades or even reward with grades. And we also want to make sure that our punishments aren't exclusionary. We don't want to exclude a kid from the group for extended periods of time just because they did something wrong. As long as they understand and they can come back and be a productive student in the class, then we're welcoming them back so that they can get back on track. As far as our reward system goes, obviously I'm big on verbal praise. I want to make sure that the students can understand, we recognize everything the students are doing correctly. We don't want to just point out every mistake and make them think that there's nothing that they're doing is good. In addition to that, we're going to use a sort of ticket system to reward them. So if I feel like they're doing something well or one of their classmates feels like they're doing something well, they can collect little tickets at the end of every Friday. We open up a little school store and they can turn those tickets in for little gifts and candies. In addition to possible punishments, we'll end up taking away those as opposed to possible other punishments. Also, for the class as a whole, we'll be using essentially another system where we put a marble in the jar for every time the class as a whole does something that's good. As that goes on, once the jar gets filled up, we'll hold some sort of pizza party or watch a movie or something to reward the class as a whole for performing well. The last thing I want to go over with that is our procedures. In reference to our procedures, we have certain things that we want to make sure that the kids do. So when they come into class, the first thing we have them do is they have them go put their backpacks up against the wall and make sure that they have the stuff in their backpack in their desk. Also, we will have a warm-up activity every day so the students can get right to work. The activity will be up on the board and they'll get down with their pencils and they'll start working on whatever it is that I have assigned. Aside from that, any distraction, any things they need to do in the middle of class would be such as sharpening a pencil or going to get something else from the equipment chest. We're going to have them make sure they ask before they go, or there'll be times dedicated in the lesson to make sure that they know when they can go, as opposed to just going whenever they want. They also must need to ask for the bathroom. And lastly, in the event that the students need to go, in the event that we're going to leave the classroom, say for lunch, recess, or one of the extracurriculars like art or gym, all the students will line up in alphabetical order in their number order that we've assigned already. And then we will walk through the halls quietly on the right side. These are all things that I've already explained with your children. They've already talked about it with me, and we all get a good understanding. If you all have any questions, we'll save that for the end. Up next will be Ms. Kate O'Connell to talk about some of our philosophies in class.
Hi parents, welcome back to School Night. My name is Ms. O'Connell, and I'm so excited to be teaching your children this year. I would like to talk to you a minute about motivation and how we're going to motivate your child in the classroom and how we would like you to motivate your child at home. The number one thing about motivation is intrinsic motivation. We want your child to be motivated within themselves, to work hard, to do better because they want to do better and they want to master a task. So the way that we're going to do that in our classroom is one, we reward for tasks but not for homework or grades or anything like that. What do I mean by that? I mean that we are going to reward your child for doing something that they are learning to master or for just walking down the hallway silently and doing a really good job at following the rules and procedures that we have put in place. Another thing that we do in our classroom is autonomy for all students. That will allow students to pick and choose what they want to do in certain tasks. Instead of reading a book, if they want to go watch a YouTube video to learn about the same information because it better suits their learning style, that's what we're going to do. We remind students that mastery is good and important. It's very important for students to master these skills and to start working on them. It's very important that students realize that it's not about A's, B's, or C's. It's beyond the grade. Learning has a higher purpose. Education is also a choice. It's not that they're here, that they're forced to be here, that they want to be here, and learning is fun and it's great. One of the things that we really strive on is fear of punishment. We do not want to punish your student if they forget their homework or if they're late to class. We want to have an open communication with you as parents to solve these small issues that happen every time and again. Self-direction in students to make efforts on their own, for them to make good choices and to direct themselves in situations and in tasks. We're very big on self-worth and that every student is capable. And we strive on cooperation, which means group work and competition, just for fun and just for them to learn and get used to that feeling. How do you allow intrinsic motivation at home? Set proper expectations. Communicate with your child when you have a task and reevaluate those steps as necessary. Help your child set some goals. Write the goals down, make the goals very specific, and make the goals measurable. Don't reward your child on every goal that they've hit, but work on those goals for them to strive in a task or the most important thing is for you to show your child that school is important. I understand that some of you may not have had the best experiences, and I'm sure that all of you have had that one teacher that you remember was not that nice. However, in our school, we want you to know that school is important, that your child finds it important. We would like you to maintain a relationship with us, support the programs in our school. We want you to create a suitable environment at home for homework and for school activities. We want you to keep up with your child's assignments. One of the ways that we're going to do this is send a weekly newsletter for you to know the big things that are happening as well as the small things. We want you to stay positive about school and schoolwork with your child. It's very important that you support your child's learning. There is a lot of different learning styles out there. There's auditory, visual, or kinesthetic learners. Find out what works best for your child and support that learning style. We want you to speak the language of encouragement. We do this in our classroom with praise and verbal praise. Praise versus... Was it? No, you're good.
You're listening.
We would like you to speak the language of encouragement. We would like you to praise your child when they do something great and encourage them to do even better. This is very important for them to master a skill. Notice effort and progress and really talk to your child about how they're getting better or what they can do to get better. It can be given regardless of this child's performance, especially if they're struggling with an issue. We would like you to reinforce learning at home and in the community. We would like you to encourage your child to be resilient, to take on tasks that are difficult and tasks that they might struggle with, but the tasks that they can also eventually master. And of course, the best approach is to rewards is to treat your child to reward once in a while, not every time and not every occasion, but other times reward them with a big smile or a big thumbs up.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to school. My name is Miss Ariana Lemus, and I'll be one of the third grade teachers for teaching your children this year. Something I wanted to talk to you all about today was the parent involvement that we would like to see coming from you all. The beginning of the school year can be a really great time of transition for all your students, especially the students who are just coming into school. But of course, it can be a troubling time for many students, and what we found out is that parent involvement really gets them going. So what's extremely important for parents to know is that they should be involved at school and at home. Some ways to connect home to the classroom are, we would like to see that the parents go ahead and reach out to us. We're going to be reaching out to you via newsletters, internet, email, websites, letters home. But of course, if you have any concerns, if you have any questions, please be assertive with those. So we want to help you parents to be assertive with their questions and concerns. Please let us know what's going on at home. Let us know if you have any questions about your child regarding lunch, school, their grades, whatever it is, let us know and we will be more than happy to help you. Also, if there are any ideas that you may have as to how you would like to connect with us, we'd be more than happy to take those in as well. Some of the forms of connections that we have come up with are parent-teacher conferences, coffee nights where we'll have coffee out and you can just come in and ask us any questions that you may have, literacy teas where we'll also talk about the books that your children are reading and have tea for you all as well, notes home, email, newsletters, calls home, home visits, or a traveling notebook in which you can write to us and we'll write to you and you'll get that the same day. Another way we like to involve parents at school is through volunteering. Sometimes we have little parties, we have field day, we have we need help with reading or just any other tasks that we may need such as filing or copying. And that's a great way to get involved at school, and the children really love to see their parents there because it also lets them know that you see school as something important. What else we like is visits from family members. So if you have any grandparents, aunts or uncles, come on, bring them in. This year we're going to be having an event called What's Your Trade, and that's a really great time to have parents and family members involved because we would like for anyone that has any form of trade, whether it be a carpenter, maybe a painter, or a construction worker, an office assistant, just come in and just explain to us what it is that you do. As well, we would also like to have talks at home happening. Talk to your children about school at home. It's very important to always let them know how important schooling is, and a really great way is to talk to them at home about school. This can be as simple as asking them how their day was, what did they learn, what did the teacher talk about. Just anything simple like that is a great way to involve school at home. We'd also like you to interact with your child with materials that will stimulate their thinking. This can be reading, it can be doing math, talking about math. An example would be going to the grocery store and buying something for $1. You can ask your child, well, this is $1, but how many quarters would it take to make this $1? That's a really great way to incorporate math, and you're not even really doing math on a worksheet, you're just doing it in everyday life. Something really important as well is library visits. It is very important for them to get into reading, and a great way to do that is through library visits. Lastly, another great way is to watch TV with them and then discuss the TV show. You can ask them questions like, what's the main idea, what was going on in the show, tell me more about the show, and that gets them thinking as well. Lastly, this year we also want to be giving out questionnaires. The questionnaires are going to be a way that you can evaluate your child's progress, and then you can give us feedback as well. This is a great way for us to help you and for us to help your child especially so that they may move forward in school. If you have any more questions for the rest of this evening, please let us know. We'll be happy to help you. Thanks.
All right, thank you parents for coming back to school night. I hope we were able to explain everything well to you.
And if you have any questions, feel free to talk to us tonight or any other night.
Can't wait to see you at Virginia Commonwealth Elementary School. Have a great night.